Norwich. And Jack Stacey has it back instead. Sarah on halfway. Faced up by Archie Gray. Just drop of the shoulder once, twice, and then flicks it down the right-hand side for Jack Stacey. Sarah again takes over. Works the ball back to Kenny McLean at the edge of the centre circle. Yalusa made a great run, but McLean just couldn't find him. Instead it's gone left to Gibson. Now Yanulis wants it on this near side of the left. Midway point of the Leeds half, 0-0. Norwich attacking the Barclay end in this second period. Down goes Gabriel Sara over Glenn Kamara, and that's a free kick just beyond the centre point of the Leeds United half for Norwich City. 0-0 the score.
Well, just going back to where Leeds had that counter-attack, and it was brilliant defending, you're right, from Joe Rodin. Then he carried on as well, and he played the ball into Ruta, and Ruta just, it was a really poor pass under no pressure whatsoever, and I have to say, Daniel Farke must be thinking about taking him off, not necessarily changing the shape, but bringing somebody on who can actually hold the ball up and look dangerous. But yeah, looking at this free kick now, again, it's one of those like we had one in the early first half. It's almost in between the sticks, but it's just a bit too far out to have a shot. They may well have a go at it, but it'd be some strike to beat the keeper from here.
Well, again, it's Nunez and Sara having the conversation about who strikes it.
It's almost too straight. Sorry, Dan, it's almost too straight though to kind of, dink it in behind or whatever. So maybe it's worth having a shot, and if the keeper fumbles, follow it in.
Well, Nunez is very deliberately placing the ball down and then taking those long strides back from the ball. Four-man Leeds wall in front of the D. Up steps Marcelinho Nunez, right-footed, into the wall, deflects and wide for a Norwich City corner at the Barclay end, 0-0.
Yeah, it's a decent strike. It's a good wall though. It's what you want, to be very strong, straight at it. A great opportunity still, another set piece.
So Nunez will go across in front of those Leeds fans in the south stand where it meets the Barclay end to strike this corner kick in for Norwich City. Right-footed outswinger to come then from Marcelinho Nunez. Duffy just hanging back at the edge of the area. It's drilled along the deck. Jorginho Rutter, the first defender, won it, and he drifts outside the penalty area, hits it against Sainz, but it is a Leeds United throw, and that corner kick comes to nothing for Norwich. 0-0 it stays. Just over 20 minutes to go here in this first leg on TalkSport.
Well, he did well there, Ruta, but I was just thinking as he was running out of the ball and just overplayed it a touch. If the Norwich player could have got there first, he would have brought him down for a penalty, and that could have been that type of day, and it looks like he is coming off now.
Well, Joel Peru is coming on for Jorginho Rutter, and Wilfried Gnonto is also coming off, and Jayden Anthony on loan from Bournemouth is going to be his replacement for these last 20 minutes or so on TalkSport. Double change made then by Daniel Farke, back on his old stomping ground where he won 2 championship titles as Norwich City manager, but he's got to do it the hard way to get to the Premier League this time if he wants to make it a hat-trick. Now Glenn Kamara drifts away from Nunez and wins a throw on the halfway line in front of those Norwich fans in the south stand opposite us. Ethan Ampadu and Joe Rodon, who both would have been hoping to go to the Euros themselves with Wales, but it wasn't to be, courtesy of that playoff penalty shootout defeat to Poland in Cardiff. Gruev gives it back to Ampadu. Now Firpo. Neat ball infield for Glenn Kamara. Plenty of space for Sam Byram on this near side, and that's who he's looked for, and he's found him. He can bring the ball under control midway point of the half. Works it down the right wing for Jayden Anthony. First time ball from Anthony, deep beyond everybody in a white shirt inside the area, but Junior Firpo can pick it up outside the box. Now Crescencio Somerville. Back out to Junior Firpo, left hand side. Glenn Kamara takes over. Somerville will now have it. Approaching the left-hand corner of the box, looks for Firpo on the overlap. First time ball to the far post. Byram tries to head it back in play, but it was out of play from Firpo's cross. 19 minutes to play on TalkSport Plus for the added time we get. Still we're waiting for the breakthrough, Scott Minto.
Yeah, do you know what? I thought the first leg would be pretty cagey. Both teams clearly trying to go for it, but David Wagner's side better in the first half. Not so good, not even a shot on target in the second as yet.
Live on TalkSport 2 in an hour. It's the Women's FA Cup final. New name on the trophy for sure. Manchester United against Tottenham. The team news comes from TalkSport's Joe Shannon.
2 changes for Manchester United, Dance. Riviere and Williams come in. Evans and Paris drop out for Tottenham. Also 2 changes. James Turner and Thomas both start. Bartrip and Clinton make way. The 54th Women's FA Cup final underway at 2:30 live on TalkSport 2.
Thank you, Joe. The build-up already underway from Box Bar ahead of that Women's FA Cup final. Here on TalkSport, we'll be off to the Hawthorns after this to bring you the first leg of West Brom against Southampton with Adam Bridge and Ray Houghton. But here come Norwich defending as Leeds come forward down their right-hand side with Jayden Anthony just on as a substitute for Leeds in this second half, but he can't keep the ball under control, and Norwich have a throw right by their own corner flag, left-hand side. Conor Roberts still warming up quite strongly for Leeds United. You were wondering whether he would come back into the side today, Scott Minto.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I have to say, Sam Byram's played very well. It's interesting also that Dan James wasn't one of the substitutes to come on.
There is a heavy Welsh contingent at Leeds United this season. And here is the aforementioned Joel Piroux, came on a little while ago, former Swansea man. He played his trade in Wales for a bit. Roden finds Kamara. Bit of space to roll the ball left for Ampadu. Kamara again inside the centre circle. Plays it right for Ilya Gruyev. Space for Byram on the right-hand side. He's been fed by Gruyev. First time ball into the feet of Anthony. Tries to wriggle away from the challenge of Sainz. Has to go back to Roden on halfway. Again, it's patient from Leeds United as they look to break the deadlock here. They're just shading the possession stats at the moment as well. Leeds over the course of the 74 minutes we've had, 57-43. It's what you do with it that counts. It's going to be a Norwich change in a minute as well. They're just readying that down beneath us as Leeds get across into the box. It's overhit by Byram. Only Peru really was in there notionally for Leeds United, and Norwich clear their lines downfield.
Thing is as well, you know, Leeds, they're looking dangerous at times, and at times they're just keeping the ball, but what that does mean is that Norwich aren't able to compile anything themselves. And again, we talk about you playing at home just from a psychological point of view. 1-0 is such a difference to 0-0. The first half they were very good, second half I'd say still waiting for that shot on target.
Like for like change at left back for Norwich City. Dimitris Giannoulis is putting a good shift for Norwich today. He's off, and Sam McCallum, who joined from Coventry City 4 years ago, has scored 1 this season, but it's a like for like switch left back for left back. Nothing tactically changes for Norwich at this point. 15 minutes to go. Norwich 0, Leeds United 0.
I wonder whether he's taken off just because he's had a yellow already. He's put in a couple of meaty challenges, and they certainly don't want to go down to 10 men.
Here's Ben Gibson, just getting over the halfway line, but loses possession for Norwich. They could have men over here, Leeds, if they play it quickly enough. Somerville darting down the inside left channel. Got support on his outside from Firpo. Now drifts out towards the far touchline. Keeps hold of it well, but it was good defending from Stacey to stop him getting any further in field, but Somerville still has it. Gruyev takes over. Now Kamara. Firpo showing on the far left-hand side. Only 2 players in the box waiting for a cross in Leeds white. One of them is Peru, the other Archie Gray. Here's Jayden Anthony once more. Down the left-hand side for Leeds United. Faced up by Nunez. Shows good strength as Nunez, but it goes out of play for a Leeds United throw just down by the corner flag where the south stand meets the river end that Leeds are attacking. 0-0. Yeah,
and all the time we're in Norwich's half. You know, Norwich will not be able to score, so this is really clever play and much better, you know, tactically, and the intensity from Leeds United in the second half.
Ball's back out with the former Norwich man Sam Byram. Tries to play a 1-2 with Anthony, but he was caught by McCallum as he released the ball. So Leeds have a free kick now, out on the right hand side, almost level with the Norwich penalty area, probably about 30 yards from the dead ball line, but a good chance for Ilya Gruyev, who appears the most likely, although Somerville's trotting over to this near side now. Maybe he'll take this free kick. 0-0.
Yeah, it might do, but again, that in-swinging free kick will certainly be very, very dangerous if the the ball comes in with quality, it's so difficult to defend against.
Norwich holding their defensive line on the 18-yard line. Gruyev and Somerville, the two players standing over it. Will it be the right foot of Somerville or the left foot of Gruyev? Two-man Norwich wall standing, well, not even together, at the right-hand corner of the box. It's Gruyev to deliver. Good pace on the delivery, and a kind of an attempted scorpion kick from a standing start by Sam Byram, but it was going way over the top, and Angus Gunn knew it. Goal kick to Norwich. It stays goalless.
Yeah, it was played in with pace and a bit of whip, but it wasn't far enough or high enough as well. So Byram actually did very well to kind of flick it over him, but very difficult to score from there in that position.
Angus Gunn receives the ball back from one of his centre-halves and clatters it downfield for Norwich, looking for the head of Josh Sargent, but comfortably won by Joe Roden. Firpo and Kamara now in possession. Tucked back to Ethan Ampadu. Now Gruyev lays it off for Roden. Wonder what his future holds beyond this season, whether Ange Postecoglou might have taken a look and think he might be worth a run for Spurs next season.
Well, I think for Leeds United, if they don't go up, then I can't see them keeping him.
Gruyev for Leeds, just ahead of the halfway line. Again, Byram in space on this near side. Good ball to find him. Right-hand corner of the box. Down the right side of the area is Anthony, who hits the ball against Sainz and wins Leeds another corner.
Yeah, Norwich is, you talked about the belief. Do Norwich believe that they can beat Leeds? And in the first half, I do think they were really at it. Second half almost feels like we're struggling now. We're up against a boxer that in the second half of the fight we know is going to come on strong, and now they're on the back foot at the moment.
Gruyev just spotting the ball down only now at the corner of the City stand and the River End. You can almost see him through the windows of the executive areas just to our immediate right hand side from our commentary position. Be a left-footed in-swinger from Gruyev. In it comes now, deep to the far post, but headed away under no real pressure. Ampadu was the closest player to it. I think it was Kenny McLean that got the flick header away for Norwich City, but Leeds have a throw out on the far side, their left. Just over 10 minutes to go in this first leg on Talk Sport. Don't forget we're off to the Hawthorns for the first leg of West Brom Southampton with Adam Bridge and Ray Houghton at the conclusion of this game, and then following that the Sunday session with Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Perry Groves. Team are at Old Trafford this afternoon. 4:30 kickoff in the Premier League. It's Manchester United against Arsenal. Regular updates from that encounter to the Theatre of Dreams. Out it goes for another Leeds United throw on halfway this time.
It's a heck of a day all round, isn't it?
It is. Heck of a day. And then don't forget Trans-Euro Express tonight from 9 with Danny Kelly and Andy Brassel. Yep. The very, very best way to round off your weekend with a exceedingly thorough breakdown of everything that's happened in European football in the past 7 days. Here's Joe Roden for Leeds United at 0-0 inside his own half. Plays the ball into the feet of Sam Byram. Heavy touch from Jayden Anthony, but he did well to steer the ball back to his goalkeeper under pressure from Sam McCallum. And now Gruyev turns midway point of his own half and feeds the ball back to Joe Roden. Just trots up to the halfway line. Nobody engaging him in Norwich colours. Ball played back into square to Gruyev. Firpo's in plenty of space out on the far side, although Stacey's now coming across to close down that space a little bit. Glenn Kamara takes over. Scott Minter, what have you spotted?
No, there's no rush for them, Leeds. They're just keeping the ball.
And now Pirou finds Somerville. Archie Gray at the edge of the area drives it against the Norwich player, goes behind for yet another Leeds United corner. This time at the River End. 10 minutes to go, 0-0.
It's just been a really excellent second half from Leeds. It really has. They're keeping the ball. They're territorially, they're staying in Norwich's half. They're looking very solid whenever Norwich attack, who still haven't had a shot on target as yet, and they're not forcing it. And by feeling no pressure, they can create chances.
Short corner. Leeds have it back at the edge of the area. Jayden Anthony goes for goal, straight into the grateful arms of Angus Gunn. On target, but straight at the keeper. 0-0.
Yeah, simple save in the end, you have to say. But again, they're just pass and creating it. And Norwich at the moment, where they had that high intensity and belief earlier in the first half, they seems to have gone from them in the second.
Norwich in possession with Sainz. Finds Shane Duffy. Knew he had to get the ball back to his keeper quickly because Somerville was closing down the space rapidly. Angus Gunn still has it at his feet, and then he's forced to clear the ball out of play, but he's cleared it out because he spotted Josh Sargent sat on his backside off the ball just inside the Leeds United half. I don't know whether that's cramp or something a bit more serious for the American, but David Wagner could ill afford to do without Josh Sargent going forward in these playoffs if he's picked up something substantial.
Absolutely. We know the class play he's been for Norwich this season, even how much they've missed him when he has been injured for that 4-month period, and they certainly won't want him having something similar. Difficult to see from where we are exactly what the injury is, but it certainly gives both managers the ability to have a word with the team, and I don't think Daniel Farke needs to say anything. They have been superb, Leeds, in the second half without really having to go for it. They've controlled the tempo of the second period, and it is absolutely David Wagner who needs to sort things out, because what are we now? 7.5 minutes plus injury time away from going to Ellen Road, and if it's 0-0, you'd have to favour Leeds.
Well, it's a famous name coming on for Norwich to replace Josh Sargent, who's walking off the pitch unaided. Doesn't look in any great discomfort, but it might just be a slight pull or a dead leg that's forced him off. And so Sidney van Hooijdonk, and yes, he is related, the son of Pierre van Hooijdonk, former Celtic and Nottingham Forest striker, yet to score since his loan move from Bologna in Serie A. 24 years of age, Sidney van Hooijdonk, and he's every bit as tall as his old man. The apple didn't fall far from the tree there.
Let's see if he can score a crucial goal like his old man.
7 minutes to go. Norwich 0, Leeds 0 on TalkSport in the EFL Championship playoffs. West Brom against Southampton to come straight on the back of this, so stay on this frequency for more gut-wrench and playoff drama with Adam Bridge and Ray Houghton at the Hawthorns. Sam McCallum can't keep the ball in play. It was a chip clearance from Angus Gunn that was overhit, so Leeds have a throw right hand side, taken quickly by Sam Byram into Jayden Anthony and Glenn Kamara, who didn't win the throw. It's a Norwich throw that's been given down this near side there left. Sam McCallum, who's come on as a second half substitute for Giannoulis, will get the ball back into play. Van Hooijdonk is the target, but headed up in the air and out by Sam Byram, and that does give Norwich a slightly different attacking focal point for these last few minutes, rather than Sargent, who's more lithe and technical and playing on the floor. This is a chance to go a bit aerial now, Norwich.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the size of him up against Roden and Ampadu, he's certainly taller than the two, so we'll see whether Norwich can actually get crosses in the box. At the moment, they can't get hold of the ball,
because Anthony's won it back for Leeds United. Archie Gray finds it through to Jayden Anthony once more. Byram on the overlap on the right hand side. Anthony gets to the right hand corner of the penalty area, plays it back out wide right to Sam Byram, faced up by McCallum. Leeds United keeping possession well. Jayden Anthony works his way into the penalty area but can't get past Nunez, who made the final challenge, and Norwich bring it clear. Van Hooijdonk on this left hand side lays it back, actually puts it in between full-back and centre half, and McLean has to come back and tidy up for Norwich and find his keeper. Good clearance from Angus Gunn though. Sara couldn't win the ball on halfway. Sainz has gone down, been caught by Sam Byram. Free kick to Norwich City just shy of the halfway line, and the seconds tick away. Less than 5 to play of normal time. 0-0.
Yes, they do. Still waiting for a shot on target for Norwich in the second half, and this is an opportunity now where if they do want to go a little bit longer, they decided not to.
Gabriel Sara goes to ground. He's been fouled by a combination of Gruyev and Kamara. Daniel James is about to come on for Leeds United for these last few minutes. I wonder whether Daniel Farke will just hold back on making the change whilst Norwich have this free kick. It's pretty much dead centre of the Leeds half, this free kick for Norwich, as they attack the Barclay end to our left. And there's a right old meeting going on between 4 Norwich players about how to do this. Yeah,
I mean, first and foremost, Daniel Farke's not going to bring on Dan James when you've got a defensive set piece. But again, we talked about it, how, you know, earlier, and this is even further out, it's what, 40 yards or so? But it's straight, so it's not an easy thing to do. They're going to have to try and create an angle to get across in. They're certainly not going to shoot from here.
With both centre halves, Gibson and Duffy, were having words with Nunez and Sara, who were the two players standing over the free kick, as to what to do. Leeds holding the edge of the penalty area. In comes the free kick. It's gone beyond Shane Duffy, who I think was the target, and Gabriel Sara holds out his hands to his centre half, says, what run was that? compared to what I was expecting it to make.
Do you know what? That's a good ball. They've got to read that at the far post. Again, we talked about how they've got to try and create the angle, not going to shoot from there, but don't know why all the Norwich players didn't try and come in and read that, because that was a decent ball from that angle.
Daniel James then, the fleet-footed Welshman, is on for Crescencio Somerville for these remaining minutes. 3 minutes of normal time to play on TalkSport in the playoffs, in the Championship. 0-0 it remains. Goal kick to Leeds United after that free kick for Norwich came to nothing. And Meslier will strike it left-footed downfield out to the inside right channel. Peru goes up for the header, comfortably won though at the back by Gibson. And Norwich will have a throw in their left back position. Sam McCallum just next to his manager David Wagner at the edge of his technical area, looks on as McCallum hurls it down this near touchline, but Roden heads it back to halfway, hooked back into the Leeds half by McLean, finds the head of Roden, and then James, his first involvement is to head the ball in field for Leeds. Bit of head tennis on the halfway line, finally headed forward by McCallum, but Van Hooijdonk ran into his opposite number Joe Roden, who I think felt the effects of that. And the ball's back with Illan Meslier, 0-0.
Certainly there'll be a good physical battle between those two, but the way that Roden and Ampadu just complement each other, they're so good, aren't they? Both comfortable on the ball, both very silky, both don't mind sticking their foot in as well. Ampadu, okay, as we said earlier, is a midfielder really playing centre half, but the two of them just dovetail so well.
Leeds try and win the ball inside the Norwich half, but Nunez turns away from Jayden Anthony, running back towards his own penalty area, and he was fouled by Peru. And Norwich have a free kick. Is there to be late drama here? Is there to be a late chance for either side to take as an advantage to Ellen Road for Thursday night's second leg live on TalkSport? And the attendance just been confirmed that we gave you earlier. A few ironic cheers from the Leeds fans because, let's face it, Ellen Road is slightly bigger than Carrow Road, and there will be a few more there on Thursday night.
Oh yes.
And they will make a right old racket. Make sure you're with us on Thursday night for that. It'll be a great listen.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, the Leeds fans who have travelled, nearly 2,000, will be delighted with the performance of the team in the second half. They've bossed the second half, they really have, been in control of it. Created a couple of chances, but defensively made Norwich look as if they're just not capable, taking the belief out of them.
Quick throw for Leeds, trying to get Dan James away on the right hand side, but he wasn't switched on for the throw that Sam Byram was taking. Doesn't matter, he's won it at the dead ball line to get away from Nunez. Teases the ball to the far post, nobody there for Leeds. Now Junior Firpo hooks it back across the face of goal. Panic stations at the back for Norwich. They get it half clear, and then a foul by Gruev on Gabriel Sara releases the pressure valve for Norwich City, 0-0.
And he didn't need to do that, did he? Because they were very much really trying to attack as much as possible. Sara wasn't going anywhere, but good play from Dan James. That's what he can do. It's not all about pace.
Into added time we go on TalkSport in this first leg. 4 minutes have been shown by the fourth official as minimum stoppage time, with the score at 0-0. Chance for a winner for either side from this point. Norwich's free kick drilled downfield by Angus Gunn. Sam McCallum heads it on. Sara the only man ahead of him. Roden heads it back up into the air for Leeds. Van Hooijdonk trying to make a nuisance of himself, but Byram, the former Norwich man, clears, and Leeds concede the throw. 0-0 here. West Brom, Southampton to follow at 2:15. Don't forget the Women's FA Cup final getting underway in the next 40 minutes or so over on TalkSport 2 at Wembley Stadium. Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester United. Plenty of live sport for you today across the network. Shane Duffy for Norwich City. A minute of the minimum 4 have gone. Plays a diagonal ball out to this left-hand side. McCallum gets a good header on it ahead of Sam Byram, but Van Hooijdonk couldn't profit. The header on was too straight and easy for Meslier to collect. 0-0.
But again, you know, they are going direct there, but nothing's come off the back of it. And I have to say, Daniel Farke will be absolutely delighted with how his team has played in the second half.
Meslier clears long downfield for Leeds, chested down by Peru, trying to get Archie Gray into the game. Gibson though will tidy up and guide it back to his keeper Angus Gunn. First time right-footed clearance, looking for Sara, but very comfortably dealt with by Joe Roden. Ball's hooked back up into the halfway line. Where's that going to drop? Gruev brought it down out the sky very neatly. And now Gibson just turns away from Daniel James, nearly took the ball off his toe. Gunn clears downfield. Sara tries to get a flick on. Van Hooydonk almost tried to go for the same flick, and then Van Hooydonk collides with Byram, and that's not good for Norwich because they'd won the ball back. But Van Hooydonk's foul on Byram gives Leeds a free kick. 2 minutes of stoppage time have gone, 2 to play, still 0-0.
Yeah, the thing is, he doesn't need to come in like that. He certainly put Byram under pressure, and Byram actually played it straight to a Norwich player, so I would certainly be disappointed it gave away the free kick. And again, it just gives Leeds United the chance to, and Meslier in particular, to take his time with this free kick and run down the clock.
Meslier then will have this free kick just past the midway point of his own half for Leeds, and he clips it up towards the edge of the area. Peru goes up for a header with Gibson, wins it. Gray nods it down. Daniel James hooks the ball towards the penalty area, brought down by Jack Stacey, who volleys it into the Norfolk afternoon sky, drops on the halfway line, and a very nice cushion header by Ampadu. Leeds coming forward again with a minute to go. 0-0 the score. Back with Glenn Kamara. Support from Junior Firpo, who tries to barge his way past Jack Stacey. Peru trying to guide the ball into the edge of the area. Sara wins a header. Good win back with the possession from Leeds United. Archie Gray hooks the ball up into the air. Where's that going to drop? Edge of the box. Norwich trying to get it clear, a bit panicky. Down goes Sara. He was caught by Firpo. And once again, Norwich just dilly-dallying with the ball around their own 18-yard line, but they've won a free kick, 0-0.
Yeah, but again, you've got to give credit to Leeds for the way they've come out in this second half. They've put Norwich under pressure. It feels like almost that burst of energy that they had in the first half, Norwich, they're not able to go again. And then psychologically, which you talked about how is so important up against the side that they've lost home and away already this season. Can they go again? Still waiting for that shot on target in the second half, and it's not come. And territorially, the game's almost of this second period been played almost wholly in Norwich's half.
Norwich have a free kick, and the referee brings the first leg to a close, and the applause is mostly from the Leeds United fans opposite us in the south stand, although Norwich fans also joining in. You cannot separate Norwich City and Leeds United going into the second leg. It was tight, it was tense, it was cagey. Opportunities at a premium for both sides. Only once was the ball in the back of the net, but that was ruled out for an offside against Jorginho Rutter of Leeds in the first half. Leeds had the territory in the second half, but never really forced Angus Gunn into a really important match-saving save, and so they are locked at 0-0 going back to Thursday night's second leg at Ellen Road, which you can hear live with us here, because effectively at half-time in this championship playoff tie,